Hey gorgeous, I'm back today, and today we're talking about the difference between coaching and therapy. Sometimes I get asked this question, like, how do you know if you're ready for therapy and you need a therapist, or if you need a coach? And I'm going to give you a quick example and some tips on how you can see which you may need. So therapy, the discipline of therapy, and I know this has evolved, and luckily it's evolving in the right direction, I feel like, but typically therapy has been assuming and reserved for the mindset that there's some area of your life where you are not at an optimal level of well-being, that there's something missing, that you are non-functional in some area of your life, whether it's your relationship or your health or your mindset. Maybe you're just unhappy, and so this is where you should be as an average adult, and this is where you are. And what therapy seeks to do is restore you back to kind of like your average, normal, functioning human being. So you're not depressed, you're not anxious, that your relationships are functioning as they should, and you're able to get dressed and go to work and generally have the normal, average life. Coaching, up until very recently, was reserved for athletes, politicians, celebrities, and otherwise really top tier people that were not only here, they were here, right? So this is like the average human being. These are like elite people that want to go the next level. So the example that I know you guys are tired of hearing, but I'm from Chicago, so I'm going to use this example. Well, I was born and raised in Chicago. I don't live, this is not Chicago. Michael Jordan did not hire Phil Jackson because he was depressed or like not functioning as a normal human being. There wasn't anything missing from his life. He didn't feel off. He wasn't like, something's missing from my life, I need to go to therapy, right? Which would be the right thing to do if you feel like something's missing and you want to add something back in, right? He was an elite athlete, and he knew that he needs someone to like take him the next level, to hold him accountable, to show him what he's really even capable of beyond his wildest dreams, and hold that vision for him and create a path of accountability to take him there. Okay, so a therapist will sit down with you and talk through your emotions and your experiences and help you make sense of your inner world. Hopefully, if you have a good therapist, they will help you release, past wounds, traumas, reframe things, see things in a new way, maybe give you some tools and tips and tricks on how you can deal with certain situations. I know a lot of therapists don't. I hear a lot of things, but a good therapist will. I've been in therapy, and my therapist was definitely giving me advice and tips and tools, things that I could like take into my life when I wasn't talking to her. A therapist also can prescribe you medications. There's like a different licensing like requirements on therapy, because they can like prescribe you things if you really have like chemical imbalances and things that need medication to take care of. So typically the reason that I don't work with basic babes is because I'm not a therapist, right? Like I am not going to be able to hold that kind of space for you. I'm not licensed in that arena. That is not my zone of genius. It is not my expertise. And I think it takes a lot of really amazing leadership skills to be able to say that, because a lot of people will try to, especially new coaches, we can get into that where we're just trying to help everyone. And we're trying to help sometimes people that may be outside of our realm of expertise. And what I would advise if you are some kind of a coach is to have those boundaries with yourself of who you can work with, who you can best serve, and who you need to say, hey, this is beyond my expertise. I believe that maybe you can, seek out some other professional services. If you want to say therapy, say therapy. If you feel like that you don't want to say that, then you can just say, I don't think we will be a good match. And that takes courage and integrity to say. So that's why I will often not, like, I'll just tell you guys up front, look, like, the basic babes, like we're not working with that. Even my basic babe course is actually for people that are awakening in their self-awareness, or they're actually like partly basic babe and mostly self-aware Barbies. So because I'm assuming as a coach that you are not only at basic functioning level, you're actually the top 10%, right? You think that you are capable of like so much more, and you have proof of that. You've maybe done it in some areas, and you just need help in like going the next level, okay? So that is where coaching is different. Now there is some overlap, right? Like some coaches will sometimes put on their more of that therapy hat on and like work with you for months and years over your triggers and things like that. I personally don't do that. That is not what I like to teach. It's not my zone of genius, like I said. I will refer you out to a therapist if I feel that that's what you need, because I'm working with elite athlete mindset people, the people that like are ready to go the next level and ready to go the next level quickly. It's a different level of consciousness, and all of them are valid. I'm just saying, hey, what's my zone of genius and where can I best serve people? Okay. If you are okay, so let me say it this way. Self-aware Barbies and above, they know where they stand. They have that self-awareness. A lot of the basic babes don't, and they often end up in the wrong containers, and you'll just end up wasting your time, energy, and money. If you needed therapy first and then you ended up in coaching because you're just not ready to keep up with the fast pace, you need someone that can like dedicate more time in like really understanding you and listening to you and working through those foundational things. Here's 3 ways to know, or 3 symptoms, but 1 way to know. If you are very easily triggered, okay? So if you are someone that is really easy, like if you go throughout your day and there's you are triggered like multiple times a day by multiple different people, okay? That's 1 way to know. Another one is that maybe you got triggered once and you've completely retracted from life. So you're not getting triggered now, but you are in like that freeze moment where you've like not even dealing with life, okay? Like you've like shut yourself off and like you're staying in your safe zone and only meeting with these few other people that like won't trigger you. That's another way to know that you need therapy more than coaching, okay? You can work your way up to coaching, but that's not gonna really serve you. You're gonna get really triggered when the coach is like ready to get you moving and you're like over here like, oh, like I need some hand holding first, okay? So if you're really easily triggered, and there's 3 ways that you know you're really easily triggered. 1, like you have a fight response. So like let's say you go somewhere, someone says something, you're defending yourself, but that's not what I meant, that's not what I said. It's this like fight response, you're triggered, okay? 2nd is a freeze response. Like I said, you like remove yourself from the situation. Maybe you like just hide out and can't even deal with these certain situations. That's the freeze response. And then there's the flight response. You get triggered and you're out. You bolt out the door. Like you're not dealing with this person anymore, and you are like I'm over this. I can't handle it, and then you run. And then when you run, there's like passive aggressive kind of things that you might do. Maybe you tell your friends and family about how horrible this person is, or you post it on Facebook, or you write them a bad review, but really you were just triggered. Okay? So if this is you, no shame, we have all been there. Therapy will be the best place for you to start your inner work. Because even the self-awareness that it takes to say, hey, I'm triggered right now, and then being able to own your trigger regardless of how this person is showing up, and working through the trigger, and then deciding how you need to act. So let me give you the healthy coaching version of this. So self-aware Barbies and $1 million babes can get triggered as well. So let's say you are a self-aware Barbie or $1 million babe and you get triggered. You deal with the energetics first. You will have the self-awareness to say, oh my God, I'm freaking triggered. Okay? You're not like outwardly lashing out, freezing, or running. You're like, I am triggered. You're owning your trigger. You're gonna go in your body, you're gonna drop in, you're gonna say, where is this trigger showing up? Is it in my chest? Do I feel like my heart is going to explode out of my chest? Is it some kind of a burning sensation or like some swarming sensation? This is usually me, some kind of a weird swarming kind of situation in my belly, right? Is it tenseness in my shoulders? Is it just like racing thoughts? Is it like am I wanting to just like run away, but like you're standing there literally just feeling it through your body? Once you have identified your trigger, owned it, felt it in your body, you're like more than halfway there, just even working through it. From that point of view, when you took care of the energetics, now you can take care of the physical. So when you've already done that, you will come to a conclusion that, hey, oh my God, that was just me. I was just triggered. And you might even say to your friend, you're not gonna believe this, but when you said this, I was so triggered. People tell me that all the time. They say, when I found your content, I was so triggered, but I couldn't stop watching, and here I am in your coaching container, right? That's a self-aware Barbie move. That's a $1 million babe move, right? Like owning your triggers. Another response might be, you did that whole thing, you found the trigger, you worked through it, and then you realize that this person is just not aligned with you. Like, this is not your person. Okay, but instead of lashing out at them, running away, or being passive aggressive, you just say no thank you, right? And you can do that simply by removing your energy and your presence from them, or saying no to whatever situation there was. Like, you are in a healthy state now to make that decision from your best self, not from your triggered self. Because if we keep running or freezing or attacking, how can we have healthy relationships? You're not going to be healthy in your work life, in your personal romantic life, with your children, with your friends. Like, you're going to have to keep your world small in a very negative way so that you don't get hit up against that trigger. There's a brilliant book on this topic, and I think he does such a great job at explaining triggers and how we keep our world small to avoid getting triggered. And the book is called The Untethered Soul. If you're part of any of my courses or my coaching program, you've already read this book, because I make everyone read this book. Read this book. It's by Michael Singer. I love it on Audible. You can also get it on Kindle, whatever. I will link it in the description box for you guys. It's also in my Amazon store. All of those classic foundational books I always have in my Amazon store. So all of that will be linked below. So if you are that easily triggered person that like either fights, freezes, or runs away, in the coaching industry, we call you uncoachable. I love you. I love you. I'm just being honest with you. You are not coachable. You need to go get therapy first, because if every single time I say something or another coach says something and you're over there in the corner like shaking or running or fighting or arguing or explaining yourself, you're not going to get the most out of the coaching world and the coaching discipline, right? I think those are the people that give coaching a bad rep, because they actually needed therapy and they ended up in coaching, and then they didn't like what they saw, and then they were quite upset, but they actually were just in the wrong room. Now, I have had clients that ended up in therapy that actually needed coaching. I had a client come to me and say, Mina, I waited 8 years waiting for my therapist to coach me until I realized that's not her job, and then I found you. So sometimes it goes the other way as well. Okay, so I hope this gives you some insight into the slightly different but overlapping worlds of coaching and therapy. I also want to remind you that today is the last day to get 18% off all of my coaching programs. I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. All of my coaching programs for the celebration of reaching 100K. That code is 100K blessings. I have it linked below. I'll tag it in the comments as well. I'll pin it to the first post. It's called 100K blessings, one word. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if this was helpful. Give this a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you want more of these kind of short, like just giving you guys the nitty-gritty of the most commonly asked questions. Now, sometimes I do have clients that are doing both coaching and therapy at the same time, and I think that's a match made in heaven, but only if you're ready for that. If you're like really easily triggered over everything, stay in coaching for a little bit longer and then move yourself up. So again, coaching, therapy assumes that this is normal, you're here, and it's trying to get you here, okay? Coaching assumes that at the very least, you're here and you want to go here. But most of the time, this is normal, you're here and you want to go here, okay? So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.